compromising the ability of the needs of the future generation, so that they have enough. There's enough for everybody. That is like loosely, this is how the concept is understood or being taught to us from childhood. And the real life world, how we look at sustainability is more like it's to do with environment, or maybe like going green, or there's a lot of ambiguity, or maybe like it is the responsibility of the governments, and it is not our responsibility. We just keep on coming to platforms and talk about, oh, what is government doing to do this, and how are we going to achieve this, or look at that pile of garbage which is lying just outside Delhi when we are crossing the borders. We all notice these things, but we really don't quite understand as to what really it means, and what sort of onus we all need to take upon ourselves to make sustainability sustainable. So, we talk about energy conservations, the various concepts, loosely people talk about it. So let's basically hear out what is sustainability then. Is there anybody here who'd like to sort of just give me like few words as to what sustainability means to them? Anyone would like to take that? Okay. What I'll do is, so sustainability is not, it cannot be achieved in isolation. It is just not these 3-4 things that we talked about, but sustainability is very, very holistic. It's a more holistic approach where you need to take everybody and everything into perspective when we are talking about a sustainable world. And when we say that, it starts from the planet and goes on to our people, prosperity, peace, partnership. So how does that what does that really mean? So when we say that we need to protect our planet, that's where we talk about our natural resources. We talk about the ecological balance between the species and how we are using our resources and how we are caring, whether it's for our people, our humans, or our the creatures or plants, everything in totality. Because how they say that there was how our aquatic life is equally important as a human life is. So that perspective has to be gained for us to understand, because planet has shown us more than one way in the recent past that if we do not adhere to the balance and to the harmony of living together with everybody, then what are the repercussions? And needless to say that all these typhoons and these, the floods and the droughts, and then of course, then the COVID-19 virus that hit, everything is pretty much a result of not being able to live in harmony with everyone together. When we talk about sustainability with people, what that really means is that it's not just the well-being of people. So it is their health, it is their economic health, their physical health, it's their mental health, it's their education. Because we need to see that if we want to secure our future generations and our future of our generations to come, then we need to start working on them from eradicating poverty by educating them, bringing them, making them aware of all the requirements, how to live in hygienic conditions, be aware, and how to ensure that everyone has the dignity and equality, so to speak. So like, the casteisms and things like that are not to be entertained to. And we at RSWM pretty much, follow all these norms with the workforce of about 55,000 odd people that we have today. We ensure at all our plants, across all the 7 plants, that we give equal opportunity to different strata of people or any caste no biases are really taken into consideration, and we ensure equal opportunity to everybody. When we talk about prosperity, if we come to prosperity, we are talking more about how to ensure that everyone is enriched in every possible way. And when we talk about enrichment or prosperity, prosperity doesn't mean only in wealth. It also means in knowledge. So what all you people are doing here, all the faculty members and all the educational institutions, what they are doing currently is this, that they're enriching people and they are making this is a step forward towards prosperity, because only by being aware and being getting this knowledge that we are able to become prosperous tomorrow in the true sense. Talking next, we would like to address the peace perspective of the things, and fostering peace is, again, it is having more inclusive societies, thinking global, thinking as one world, one nation. So it is a bigger picture, thinking about mankind in totality, like how we all saw that if the whole world came together when we went through this major calamity, and everyone's life was at a threat. Uh, Therefore, it's important that not only worry about our own home or our own college or our own company to be peaceful, we need to ensure by uh, maintaining harmony, maintaining, respecting everyone's capability, respecting everyone's needs, giving them opportunities to grow, and see what really, giving them an environment where everyone can thrive and live peacefully together, because there is pretty much there's enough for everybody out there. Like how we always see that sun really doesn't decipher between a black or a white person, or a male or a female gender, or scheduled caste, a scheduled tribe, or a teacher, or a lawyer. It doesn't. The sun gives you equal light to each one of us. So how nature lives teaches us in more than one way that we need to live in a peaceful environment and live cohesively together. We cohabit together under one world, and that is what can make more inclusive societies, and hence bring peace to each one of us and every nation, every organization, every home. Then we talk about partnerships. How we are traditionally, we were the way we were, at least at our times, the way we were taught, or we were, when we studied even business, there were various business strategies taught to us, and how we had to really compete with each other, and how to outshine one another and things. But today the world is more, the sustainable world more, believes and moves more towards partnerships and collaborations, and implementing the entire agenda of a solid global partnership. How like United Nations has come together in making these SDG agenda for 2030. So how we make our organizational goals and targets for the year, the world has come together and made the sustainability agenda, and in order to achieve that, we have to partner with everybody. We have to collaborate with every nation. So, for instance, if one nation does one thing better than the other, as we all witnessed during COVID, that once we cracked the vaccine code, and uh, even though we hadn't initially vaccinated our entire people or our entire citizens, but once we got done with the serious, the age group of 60 plus and 55 plus, we offered our resources to other nations, where where the endanger of human mankind and species were more. That it was a threat. So the whole nation collaborated together. So that's what holistic, outlook of sustainability is all about. I'd just like to show a quick short video. This is something that everybody must be aware of, and these are the main agenda points of United Nations, where they have come up with these 17 goals. So this was pretty much, just one second. Yeah. So I'm sure everybody, if you need more textual knowledge, it is all available on the website of United Nations. But I think I would like to more talk about the practical things, and maybe these 4 or 5 key pointers that India has to really take care of, because India being the third largest country that emits the highest amount of carbon footprint. So it is very important for the world and India to sustain and make every effort uh, to achieve our goals in order for the whole world to achieve its goals by the 2030. So some of the key points, some of the key agenda programs that India is currently working on are Sustainable India. And Sustainable India, when we talk about it, is more, we talk about how we are self-sustained. We are trying to be as independent as possible in every which way and produce. So it's like Make in India policies and lots of other such programs that our Prime Minister has started in conjunction with this. Then the next one comes to Empowered and Resilient India. So there are there's this whole thing about how, there was, like, for instance, we had casteism, we had child labor, or, various other such problems in our working environments. So organizations like ours are ensuring that, we empower our people, not only by maintaining like a perfect balance in our workforce. We say no to child labor. There is absolutely zero tolerance to that, and we have all checks and balances to ensure that no such malpractices happen at any of our units and our plants. And in fact, we go a step further by making sure that all our partners who we partner with, whether they are supply chain people or they are our transport contractors, anyone who is part of our supply chain or our raw material, or so backward or forward integration, it is always done basis of seeing that, everybody is following the right practices of, like the labor laws, the maintenance of our ratio of 80-20 percent of male-female ratio in our workforce. Women are given equal opportunity. We try and train. We do a lot of skill development and upskilling within our organization. In fact, we have gone a step further as RSWM. We have a skilling company too, where we are doing various skill development programs across India in various cities. Then, clean and healthy India. So when in line with clean and healthy India, this endeavor, RSWM is doing our bit as a company through our CSR channel, Jawahar Foundation. What we are doing is and like, for instance, a lot of hygiene drives. We do loads and loads of educational programs, talk shows. We are ambassadors from our plants. They actually go into the rural areas, the pockets where our labor resides. We go and have camps out there. We do health checkup camps. We organize blood donation camps. Give them awareness, ensure about clean drinking water is available to them. We have doctors at all our facilities for them to be, to be consulted, or any immediate assistance that they require. And then when it comes to inclusive and entrepreneurial India efforts, what we are doing in our own way is that whatever our workforce is hired, whether it is at our headquarter level or on our plant level, we conduct various internal and external training programs, and we give them development opportunities to basically take the next role up in the ladder. We give them the opportunity, and our the mandate that we have from our promoters is that none of the senior positions should be filled from outside candidates, and we should try as much as possible to promote our people from middle management and upper management, and groom them and develop them into leaders, and then bring in more younger generation and give them opportunity. And this is how we are trying to do our bit. And also we have another program within our organization which is called Abhivyakti, under which the organization has given opportunity to people who have any kind of bright ideas, or any any entrepreneurial ideas, or any great ideas that can either help us save any kind of resources, energy, or it could be just improving a particular process and making it more efficient. We are always promoting that, and we have a suggestion box, and there's a committee that actually goes through that every month, and we implement a lot of it as we go further down. I mean, there is some data that I'm going to share with you, how as an organization we are monitoring that, and how it is helping us in the bottom line, to increase our bottom line. I think most of this sustainability across our business function, as I was just talking about, I mean, there are various areas where we actually think, so starting from an R&D and production level, our R&D team at plants literally goes out across scouting for sustainable fibers, sustainable raw material, like for instance various variants of cotton. And there are lots of natural plants out there that have got various properties. So be it like when there are the garments that are made for medical purposes, they require a particular microbial fiber which comes from a particular plant, and then that is sourced. So all that R&D is done. Or like a fire retardant clothing is made for the firefighting people. So all that, so that's where we start thinking sustainability, and at that level, and then that is incorporated, so from raw material level into production processes, and then it is converted into yarn and then goes into fabric. So that's how the whole value chain becomes sustainable. Then when you move to like a marketing of aspect of the business, starting thinking from the label, how the label will be discarded, how the it has to be a degradable grade or made out of a recycled paper, so that we are not hurting the environment in any way. When we are getting into sponsorships or getting into any marketing roles, like for one of the recent phenomena that we had, we started our food canteens. It was economical food, all across Rajasthan. We're doing meals for rupee 1. It was like a subsidized meal program that we started. So we are currently operating at 3 locations. But when we had to think about how we're going to serve the meal, even in the middle of COVID, we chose to use steel plates instead of using plastic plates, because we did not want to encourage and add to the carbon output in the environment. So therefore, we had to employ even extra labor uh, to manage that operation. But as an organization, we are making very, very well-informed choices and more conscientious choices to protect wherever we can, at least not add to the chaos, if not reduce it. So it's like a both way thing. If we start thinking on small things, like all the paper waste that comes out of our headquarter, for instance, is all collected at the end of the year. Whatever diaries or whatever notebooks or pencils that we distribute to our staff for every new year, they're all made out of recycled paper. So they're all sent to a plant and made like that. So this is how, like, it gets mainstream. I mean, another very good example of you would wonder, why, what is corporate finance doing over here, or accounting, and how can we be sustainable in that? So like recently, when I'm not sure if you all are aware and following that the cotton prices have been constantly rising. And we have a cotton committee meeting every month, and we of course have certain rules and by which we maintain our raw material for our to produce yarn. And main raw material is either PVC fiber, or we have the cotton input. So a lot of people suggested that, hey, it's a great idea that we sort of buy extra cotton and warehouse it, and then we will be able to sort of take the advantage of the increase in price, because the price was constantly rising. And it was a management's decision not to do so, because the moment as corporates we start hoarding our raw materials like this, it eventually sort of has a trickle effect in the market, and the price further goes up, because there's a scarcity syndrome that sets into the economic setup of the business. So these are the various things that we all practice at the organization, and how we start taking responsibility, each one of us, as people as well as organizations, and then we can build a sustainable future. So as I think how we were discussing, the key thing is to of sustainability and sustainable development is best described purely in these 4 pillars. And so impact of every action or every decision that we are taking, how will it impact our people? How will it impact the economy of as a whole? And whether whatever decision we are making, whether that enhances our relationships, be it with our competition companies, be it with our customers, be it with our colleagues, be it with our staff, all these decisions are taken keeping all these 4 aspects in mind, and how it will eventually, every decision taken today will transform our future tomorrow. So this is like like a quick check. If we say that we want to just while we are making a decision, just think of these four things and make a conscious choice. I'm sure that we will, if we take a pause and do that, we will not be able to make a wrong choice. Like let's say, just for kids, if I was to tell you today, hey, guys, let's all plant trees. Like on our in our organization, we have this thing that at everyone's birthday we plant a tree. So all our employees, we wish them happy birthday, and after that, we just have a thing that at our one of our plants, we just make sure that we go plant a tree. But if I were to tell you children to motivate you, and if I told you that every tree is going to give you Wi-Fi signal, will that encourage you to plant a tree or not? Today's generation absolutely definitely will. But if I told you that, hey guys, along with the Wi-Fi signal, there is another key thing that trees give us, that is oxygen, which is breathable air, which is really the key necessity without which we cannot survive. If we think like that, there's just a very small shift that we need to bring in our thinking, and the whole world and perspective can change. These are three key role models that at least I look at every time I'm doing anything to do with sustainability. These are major brands and international brands who've done great volume and done wonders in sustainability. For instance, PwC has actually gone down to, like, zero waste, and they refill and they use all the food waste that comes, and they convert it into energy. So this process of incineration literally just produces thermal energy, which is again used. So therefore, like, nothing really goes waste. For instance, and then M&S has done, again, by I think in 2012, there are various case studies done on this brand, and they're a carbon neutral company since 2012. So this was part of their sustainability plan, and it is very much aligned to the SDG plan. So this is how each one of us, each organization, has to have mini goals which are lining and tying into the SDG goals of 2030, so that we can all have a better future. That's the whole idea. These are some facts and figures that I wanted to share with you all, what we are doing at RSWM. So about 800,000 tons, so that's 8 lakh tons of carbon emission is reduced annually, just because we have various solar power plants, power plants, and wind power plants across, be it in Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, and every plant basically where we always have 3 or 4 alternate power sources, and we produce our own energy. Then we have around 493,000 kiloliters of water that is used in our dyeing processes and fabric dyeing processes, especially for our denim plant. That is all purified and reprocessed through reverse osmosis, and it is pushed back basically for evaporation back into the environment. And today I proudly would like to share that we are a zero liquid discharge company. And this was our goal that we had set forth for ourselves last year. And we were able to achieve this, I think, 2 months ago. Can anyone can anyone even read this number for me? Because it's difficult. I purposely put it out there like this. So you all know what PET bottles are, right? So all the water bottles, all our Pepsis, and all our aerated drinks, whatever we drink, about 183 crore PET bottles are recycled annually at our plant in Ringas, in close to Jaipur. And we basically clean each and every bottle that comes to us. We buy them from people, we bring it to our plant, all the labels are removed, bottles are cleaned, it is shredded and then made back into, we make flakes out of it, and then it is converted into a fiber, and then that fiber is converted into yarn, which is our core business. Uh, 360 tons of fiber. So there is lots of fabric that kind of gets, which is unused. So especially when we had the Mayur suiting brand with us, which we, I think, sold off about 3, 4 months ago. We had lots of fabric which was unused. We used to not even dispose that off into the market. We used to actually break it down and make it into fluffy cotton, and then again make fiber out of it and use it for our yarn manufacturing for the recycled yarn segment of the market. These are fairly, now this is like this is like in a nutshell how all the sustainable practices come together. So sustainable practices can't be seen in isolation. So at RSWM, every time we are making a sustainable choice, we are ensuring that it is cyclical, because it is not a one-time thing. You have to think cycles. You have to think that it can be repeated over and over to achieve the same or better results. We are looking at, how to use alternative power, be it solar. We are also into renewable energy. We've recently invested even in renewable battery, lithium ion battery project. We also employ the safest and the best practices or best raw material in the market. So for instance, there are these certifications that as yarn manufacturers or fabric manufacturers we have to receive to become competitive in the global market and to be responsible organizations. That is, we use the dyes, the chemicals, the yarn, everything that is used, it is safe. How you have food grade colors. Likewise, there are dyes and chemicals which are safe for the human body, that can touch, that they don't harm your skin. So those kind of certifications we make sure that we get by using and buying the sustainable products. We care for our people. We, ensure that every aspect of their life. So, for instance, when at our plants we have residential facilities for them, we have extracurricular activities for them. We have events for them. We take care. We have various fitness classes, health talk shows, and everything. So not only that we care for our own people, through our CSR activities, we give back to all the regions where we have our businesses, and ensure that people in the neighborhoods and those areas are well looked after, and are happy towns and happy cities, because that is what these small efforts will build a happy nation. While taking care of all this, we do not ignore our stakeholders and our investors, because one of the very reasons of a public limited company is to and ensure that we give the greatest ROI to the investment of our investors or our shareholders. And when you are actually employing all the right practices and the business practices, you anyway tend to become a profitable organization, because sustainability does not mean that you have to either give up luxury or give up your profits. You can be sustainable organization, yet be profitable, because they, as you will see, I'll just share a slide with you, that how we, through various efforts, we have saved money for our organizations and for our stakeholders. This is the Kifayat project that I was talking about a little while back. So how the global agendas, when they are made, or when UN makes all these sustainable development goals, along with that there are various key denominators. There are key factors on which they monitor how well we are doing in the progress. Basically, our progress is measured on certain criterias and certain parameters. So this is how, I mean, these are just, I think, 8 9 of them that I'm sharing here. But through our Kifayat project, which primarily sees that we are using our human resources, our raw material, our machinery, our power, energy, everything is used at its optimum level. Just in the last month, I have the September data with me here. Sorry. So we saved in just in the maintenance, by keeping the efficiency and maintaining our machinery on regular basis, we saved about 11 lakhs just last month. There was energy conservation of about 27 lakhs. In the packaging cost, we saved about 8. Raw material, we saved, as you can see, around 70 lakhs. Just by using alternate and efficient raw material, instead of, because when the whole one plus China thing happened, our teams worked relentlessly and found alternative routes to get the raw material, and that brought us savings of 70 lakhs. Boiler operation, then this abhivyakti that I was just talking about, this is where all the bright ideas which were given by our people, our workforce, that we employed, and ended up saving 45 lakhs worth to our bottom line. So in transportation, we either did efficient resources, if we did better planning of transportation, or we used alternate routes, where things, when petrol prices went up and diesel went up, we started using railroads, and we started using other ways and means of transporting our goods, and that helped us save around 12 13 lakhs. So likewise, there are various every time a goal is made, you need to have tangible parameters under which you will measure yourself, so that you keep a check on whether how you are doing, and you can measure progress, and obviously then see the whole sustainability angle into play into business, in your everyday business. And this is like a thing that I wanted to tell you, how we are employing sustainable efforts, conscientious living, and conscious thought process in um, deploying all the sustainable objectives and principles into day-to-day business. With this, I come to the end of my session, and I am open to taking questions now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an insightful session. Now we just have a few questions for you in the chat box.
Sure.
Mm, How can a small startup integrate sustainability in their business?
So as I said, like uh, sustainability can not only be deployed in a small startup, but it can also, like, if I told you that we can do it in day-to-day basis at home, then why can't it be done in a startup? Again, partnering with the right partners, collaborating, keeping it lean, and doing, like, for instance, you get your workforce, which can be cross utilized. So as startup, like, I personally ran an e-commerce website for handloom and jewelry about 5 years ago. So there were lots of things that I did not do
Hello.
earlier when I was in a
Yes, ma'am.
corporate life. But when I started my personal venture, I made sure, I worked with the artisans, and I cut the middlemen in the in the process, in the value chain, so that I could deal with them directly and have
Okay,
cost
ma'am.
effective
Okay, ma'am.
products, and then supply it further. I had to take on several roles
Okay, ma'am.
myself. I collaborated with companies who were already having a network of people, where I
Okay,
could
ma'am.
utilize their network,
Okay.
and just did some commercial, arrangements with them, where I was willing to um, share some profit basis of my, whatever commercial arrangements I have made. So
Ma'am,
everything
sorry to
doesn't have to.
interrupt.
You
Just
don't have to
continue.
have. In startup doesn't need like a big setup. You need to think intelligently that what are the things that we must have in house and what can be outsourced. Does that help whoever asked that question? Is there anything else, Kartike?
Yes, ma'am, there is another question. Is there a certain example that you can give of a business that saw changes in its business value by promoting sustainability?
Sorry, that faces challenges. Is that what you said? Can
I
you
will
repeat
repeat it.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a certain example that you can give of businesses that saw changes in its business value by promoting sustainability?
Uh, I think the perfect example that I was just now talking about, RSWM, I just gave you an example of how, just saying no, whereas no to that hoarding of cotton or taking extra stock of raw material at the time of crisis, I actually helped by bringing the cost down of cotton. Because what happens is in events like this, if big organization like for instance RSWM is probably one of the top 5 players in yarn manufacturing. If one of us also put our foot down and say that no, we will not entertain any malpractices or any such practices which do not benefit the entire fraternity of yarn manufacturers, then we can actually eradicate all the cartel. You know how people cartels are formed and then they start demanding, like what happened again. I would give you an example of during COVID time, how the prices of the main like oxygen concentrators and this and that, they were all, they actually cost 25,000, but they were all selling for 2 lakhs each. If everybody was taking a conscious choice at that time, things would have not happened. Likewise, RSWM made a choice. We are pioneers. People come to us. The other day, when the textile minister called all the manufacturers, yarn manufacturers, we were the first ones to be summoned because they, whenever any policy or change is made, we are invited to contribute to that. It's like, in the whole SDG goals, when they were made, India was a key contributor because people who are suffering from it are the ones who will be able to find the solution for it. Because when they say that, the wearer of the shoe only knows where it pinches the most. So that's why they say that necessity is the invention, the mother of invention. So that's how the organizations change. Anything else, Karthike?
Yeah, next question is can variable salary on the basis of performance for the employees in a business help integrating sustainability in that business?
The variable salary?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, I think it's a very, I would say it's a very subjective question. It can and it cannot. It totally depends on the person because I think salaries, it's a motivator. Like you are not, for me, like for instance, personally for me, I would not take up a role if it did not have the salary and a learning curve. Maybe for Harshita, the motivator is no salary and she just wants to learn. For Karthike, it is just money and uh, he doesn't care whether he learns or not. He doesn't mind doing the same job over and over. So it really depends. But variable pay can be made sustainable if the person, the workforce is trained in that manner. Mentally they are ready to receive and they realize their role in the bigger picture of the, like, how organizations make vision and mission statements. So as long as each employee knows what they are doing and why they are doing it, then variable pay can be a motivator. It can be made sustainable. But if it isn't, if like how they earlier days people used to say in government offices people just go punch in, sit on their desk, pass 9 to 5 time and they go home. That was the mindset of people. But things changed when in the recent 5 to 10 years things have changed in government departments as well. So it's the same aspect that variable pay is just a motivator for sales people to do better. But now, provided that particular person should have the motivation level of earning more money, but conscious, it should be a conscious effort.
Okay, ma'am. Next question is from Aditya. How did the idea of becoming sustainable occur to RSWM so early when sustainability was not so much in talks?
Quite honestly, I think whatever RSWM is today is because of LNJ Babu. And LNJ Babu is grandfather of Mr. Riju Jhunjhunwala, who is currently our CMD. Because he was a visionary, rather, he is a visionary, pardon me, and he always believed in doing things the right way the first time and with the best. So anything that he wanted to do, he would want to partner with the best person in the world. So let's say if when he wanted to start the thermal power plants or the hydropower plants, he actually did his research. Those days there was no Google. He actually used to read books, talk to people, go to various forums, CIIs and all, talk to people, find out who's the best company in this, and he would go contact them, partner with them, tell them that I'll give you 49% share, I will take 51, come teach me. So they learned from the best. Because they learned from the best, they got the best practices too. Like today also we work with the world renowned brands, like the likes of Levi's, M&S, Zara, Uniqlo, just name it. All the brands, they take either denim fabric or yarn from us. So when we work with the brands, they teach us a lot. So all these international brands are already way ahead of us. So we get to learn from the best when we partner with the best. And that's how it came about to RSWM. Because brands will not work with you if you are not, like, you know, how child labor 20 years ago had become a big taboo. So all the big international brands were just saying no to all the companies who had any kind of labor law flaunting happening at their end. So in order to service them, we aligned ourselves with our partners' ethos and their best practices. And ultimately, what happened, we benefit too.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering each and every question. I believe that's it for the questions from the audience. And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, ma'am, for this very informative session. If it was possible, we would have loved to learn and get more insights for you for the whole day. But uh, everything has to
Thank
come
you
to
very
an end.
much. But I do have something to say, and it is to all of you. And I mean, at this forum, I'd like to offer this that next year round, whenever you guys are ready for your internships, if any of you is keen on doing an internship in manufacturing side of the business or on a marketing side of the business at our organization, I'm happy to offer that to the students of Aryabhatta College. So feel free to send me a direct message on LinkedIn, or you have my contact details, and we'll make sure that we get you guys integrated, and we'd like you to have a first-hand experience of our organization and how things are done. All right?
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am, for that. I'd like to again express my deepest gratitude to you for spending your valuable time with us. I'm sure I speak for everyone present here that this was truly one of the most helpful sessions we've had in a long time. And All of us
Quite
are
honestly, it would have been much more interesting if it was face to face, as Sir had
definitely.
rightly said at the beginning, because that energy was missing. I'm a more energy person, and if I could see you all together in a room and interact with you, there's a lot more we could have done rather than having it as a monologue. But still, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm glad if I was able to even contribute nanosecond. I feel my time was totally worthwhile.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right.
I
Thanks.
believe that's it for the session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a
Thank you
lovely
so much,
evening, all
ma'am.
of you. God bless.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
That's it for the session, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Hope you've gained a lot of values and